Hey, my friend, and welcome to step number 2. Eyes wide open. Eyes wide open. What am I talking about there? Talking about awareness. Talking about being present. And this entire step, I'm just going to help you drill that in just a little more and a little more and a little more and create the awareness, the presence to really be mindful and experience life in all of its forms, seen and unseen. So here we go on lesson 1. Lesson 1, the language of spirit. I love this lesson. I'm so excited about this lesson. The language of the spirit. So, spirit speaks in lots of different forms. And when I say spirit, now remember, back in step 1, you learned about the spirit world in kind of a general sense. Well, I'm gonna drill it down a little more for you. The spirit speaks in a lot of different ways. And when we say the word spirit, it can mean a lot of different things. It can be your angels, your guides, your loved ones in spirit. Some people tune into their higher self, the ascended masters, the God of your understanding. And all of them speak to you in particular ways. So the language of the spirit world, the best way I can begin to explain this is by helping you understand what happens when our loved ones that have passed want to communicate with us. And the best analogy I have, and Spirit gave this to me many, many years ago, I want you to imagine that one of your dear loved ones that are in your life right now, let's imagine that they got the job of a lifetime. They're so excited about this job. It's what they've always wanted to do, and they're so excited. And they moved to China because China is where they can do this job. And the hard part for you is that when they move to China, they can't have any contact or communication with you because they really need to kind of just step into this new world, this new environment, and this new energy. And so they are going to China. They are kind of like forgetting everything they knew to really embody this new world, right? They love you, you love them. You know that this is where they want to go. So you know that they're happy and excited. And yes, you miss them. And yes, they miss you. But they're so excited about their journey that they're just in their journey. So when they move to China, the other thing that happens is the only way that they can communicate with you when they finally get to that place is through speaking Chinese. Well, the problem is you don't know Chinese. Okay, you don't know Chinese. So if they call you up or they write you a letter or they send you an email in Chinese, you don't understand it. And eventually, if that continues to happen for a while, you either do one of two things. You just ignore it, let it go, and go, well, I'm never going to be able to understand what they're saying. Or you choose to learn. You choose to learn their language. You take a class, you sign up, you get an app, something where you learn their language. Well, this is how the spirit world works, my friends. So your loved one who dropped their body, transitioned into the spirit world, they moved to China. And they, spirit-wise, they're so excited. They are home. They are in the energy of absolute unconditional love. And likely, for that reason, you're actually happy for them too. But the human part of you, the part of you that misses their touch and their love and their words and their actions and their being of the physicalness of you, you miss that. And you can learn their language. They actually are always teaching you through signs and symbols and messages. They're sharing songs and words and affirmations. They're putting people in front of you, messages in front of you. They're dropping coins and shining lights and having the animal kingdom move into spaces where you can see them. That is the language that they're wanting you to learn. All you got to do is learn it. And you're going to learn some of it right here. But I just want you to recognize you have to be willing to learn. And that when your loved one has moved to China, they're happy. And you can choose to be happy for them or not. There's no judgment, there's no right or wrong, but it is a choice. All right, so our loved ones have moved to China. When they move to China, they are actually in a higher vibration. Why are they in a higher vibration? Because they dropped their bodies. They dropped their body, so right, remember what we talked about, spirit in body. So we are spirit in a body. When we drop the body, now we no longer have the body. That means we're pure spirit. So our vibration automatically raises simply because we dropped the body. And so because we've dropped the body, if we're these physical dense energies and we've dropped the body, the vibration automatically raises. And when our vibration from this physical realm, we drop the body and it raises into the afterlife, into the spirit world, when that shift happens and their energy automatically raises, now what we need to do to connect with them is to raise our energy too. And how do we do that? There's lots of ways to do that. The vibrational chart gives you the information of the different levels, and bringing yourself into joy is going to raise that vibration. But other ways to raise your vibration is to start to understand how they're speaking to you. Start to put the signs and the symbols and the messages together. Keep a little symbol journal, intuition journal, dream journal, messages from my loved ones journal that shares the signs and the symbols that you're getting so you can see them and it can validate for you. Know that, hey, they want you to hear them. They want you to get it. They want you to understand the messages in the dreams. You just got to be willing to. And as your vibration raises, you're going to have more and more and more experiences with them. The challenge is that sometimes you don't necessarily understand the way that they're actually speaking to you. You don't know how those messages are coming. Am I feeling them? Am I seeing them? Am I going to have a dream? So let's talk about that, because this may be very new for you. And if it's not, if this is an area that you're familiar with, then this will just be a great overview. And maybe you'll hear a couple things you haven't heard before. But the way the spirit world is speaking to us through this language, we call it the clairs. And the clairs are the representation of the communication between the spirit world and our world. And all of those experiences actually are happening in our bodies. So there's 5 clairs, all right? The first one is claircognizant. Claircognizant. It means that you are a clear knower. It means you know something, but you don't know why you know it. The second one is clairaudient. Clairaudient is clear hearing. And what it means is that you hear something, you hear a message, inside of your head or outside of your head. Clairaudient. Clairvoyant, you probably heard of this one. Clairvoyant is clear seeing. That means that spirit gives you visual signs, visual messages through dreams and deja vu, and actually seeing angels or spirits around people or yourself. Clairsentient is clear feeling. And clairsentient means you get a gut feeling. You have a sense of something. You get the hair on the back of your neck stands up. So you get a sense or a feeling that something's going to happen. Or you see or you feel the pain emotionally or physically of someone. And then clairfragrant. Clairfragrant is clear scent. And this is when you are in a room, like I am right now, and there's nothing, there's no plants, there's no nothing. And you get a whiff of daffodils. There's no reason that you would smell daffodils because there's no daffodils around. But your grandmother, who you loved so much, always planted daffodils. And so that's her way of saying hello to you. Clairfragrant. Now the thing that's so important with the clairs is that once you begin to understand more about how they can show up and what to look for, you will start to open up to your own abilities, your own intuitive channels. And whichever your strongest ones are the ones that you pay attention to the most. And as you pay attention to those and you embrace those and you believe those and you trust those, it opens up the energy to all of the other clairs. And that is a very cool thing. So I want you to make sure you check the resources tab, because I have a little quiz in there for you. And that quiz I'd like you to take so you have some insight into what your strongest clair attribute is. Are you a seer? Are you a feeler? Are you a hearer? Are you a knower? Or do you connect with the scent? Because whichever is your strongest attribute, and you're going to have one that follows very closely behind. But whatever those are, we want to really nurture those. We want to really embrace those to open the door then for the ones that maybe aren't quite as strong. And what will happen as we begin to do this is you're going to start to see the signs. Spirit's going to be speaking to you in a variety of ways. And it gets pretty darn exciting, because what's happened now is you're aware. You are aware. Your eyes are open. You can see that there's this whole other world maybe you haven't been paying attention to. This whole other world that is sight unseen for some people, that's gently guiding you and nudging you and supporting you along your journey, that's giving you some messages, and oftentimes from your loved ones in spirit, but you know, your angels give you messages just to support your journey. Your guides give you messages just to help you make decisions. So it isn't always just about our loved ones hanging out. The connection and the value of knowing the language of the spirit world means that as you start to learn that, you begin to create more grace and ease in your life, because you're aware and you're present of your surroundings, both physical and spiritual. And that, my friends, is when things really start to open up. And it is so exciting.